Life is such a blur. Email details, more stuff. My business is consuming me. Am I really living? When do I get to do what energizes me and enjoy the rewards? Welcome to your second life. All is now doing what you love and loving what you do. It's radical creativity. Here's your host, the VIP coach, John Davidson.
So on today's show, we have April Sullivan, and April is a gifted virtual assistant. And April provides virtual assistant services to myself. I also recommend her to the VIP coaching clients. She runs our VIPA program, which means Very Important Personal Assistant. And she is the president and founder of virtualassistantchick.com. And she provides virtual assistant services, a very wide range of helpful services to professionals throughout the world. So today, I've asked April to join us on the show to help us get a better understanding of how a virtual assistant can help us out, what we might be able to delegate or give away to a virtual assistant to position us. So April, welcome to the show.
Thank you, JD.
Great. This show is called Radical Creativity, and obviously you know all about that because it's about positioning your clients, your professionals into being more creative and being more effective in what they do. Can you give us kind of your 1 to 2 minute elevator speech, your spiel on what it is that you do and then how you got into it?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, a virtual assistant is a highly trained professional in the administrative field that works with realtors, entrepreneurs, other business coaches, basically anybody who works alone that doesn't have a support team backing them. They are business owners themselves, so they know what it's like to kind of build your business from the ground up, and they provide support to you based on their experience. Most virtual assistants have at least 5 years of high-level administrative experience, or they've worked in the field that you work in, so you really want to find somebody that you're compatible with that does what you do or has worked in that field before. Well, let me tell you, and I got into this because I helped my husband, who is a real estate broker, build his business from the ground up, doing things for him, and out of my need for wanting to stay home and raise my children, I started running his business from home. I realized that I could start doing that for a lot of different people, and after a year or so of doing that, I realized that there was this whole world out there called virtual assistants. So I kind of took what I was doing and built it into a small company, and I have this fabulous team behind me that helps me help other people and support them the best that I can.
Very good, very good. So I can see how you have built up these capabilities to support people. Sounds like you have a deep, deep team of specialists that can be surgical. When I hear that, I hear like you're the head surgeon, and then you have someone who specializes in web design. You probably have someone that specializes in so on and so forth. So you bring a very wide net of support services for the right amount of money, for the right amount of investment, yes?
Yes, we try our best.
That's exciting. And I know for me personally, all I pretty much do is to coach clients, sell coaching, which I love to do, is enroll new clients in the VIP coach, author, write books, write white papers, write in the blog. I enjoy that. And also go out and speak and give keynote speeches. Those are pretty much the 4 things I do to all of our listeners. All the other activities, which are probably the other 80% of things that have to be done, are handled by this person. And then, of course, the other people around her that handle it. So I really feel like I have 7 people around me. Even though I may have 1, I feel like I have a total support experience from cradle to grave, from billing to administration. So I myself am an example of a great client of virtual assistants, and I highly, highly recommend it. Where I'd like to go next, April, is to talk about why virtual assistants is so popular and what has really brought this to become so, so needed today. If I were to look at probably the SIC codes of industries and services available, you wouldn't find virtual assistants anywhere. So why today? What is it about virtual assistants that's become so popular?
Well, first of all, it's very easy to get into. Anybody can have a computer and get a client and call themselves a virtual assistant. There isn't really any big industry standard. A lot of people believe that it's so popular now because of the economy. I don't believe that. I think that as we all kind of shift and evolve into being mobile people and having mobile offices and not, needing to be in an office, to work from home, to work from Starbucks, to work from vacation, wherever you are, you can have this whole team behind you. And it's really appealing to a lot of people to not have to have somebody in their office or to even have an office, and somebody that is highly skilled in what they do to support their business.
Boy, I can see that. I can see even myself. I like to be very mobile. I like to work from anywhere. I'm always up and down the West Coast, from down to the tip of Mexico, all the way up to the top of Canada. And you certainly have freed me up that way. Boy, I can see how true that is. So give me some direct examples, would you, of a day in the life of a VA. How do you start your day? How do you finish your day? What does your day seem like? Kind of put us in the seat of a VA.
Wow. It varies. I'm a little bit different than most VAs, I think. I don't like having a typical day. But either way, my typical day will always start with a whole lot of coffee. And then I kind of just, I run by my calendar. Everything that my clients need is in my calendar, and that is my lifeline. And I go through and I kind of, do a daily triage, find out, who needs what right away, what needs to be done, who is the best person on my team to help this person, or who's in crisis and needs something right away, just sorts of things like that. We go through, we implement as much as possible, and, we do some follow-up here and there, call clients. I try to stay off the phone as much as possible. I like to do things with my clients. I feel that I have a craft just like every other entrepreneur out there, and so that's what I do. I like to get on the phone with my realtors and really strategize with them and figure out the best ways for just kind of marketing things, get them out there, be seen more, be seen as an expert. That's kind of my thing. But because we help people do such a wide range of things, a lot of my day is spent, giving out instructions to my team on how to help people the best way.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you face in your position? What are some of the biggest obstacles that you've had to address or deal with?
I would say working with clients that, because virtual assistant is kind of, to me, it's like an oxymoron because, our name is virtual assistant, but we're really not your assistant, so kind of people that don't understand the role that we play in their business can be condescending and a little bit rude sometimes. That, to me, is my biggest pet peeve. I'm a business owner just like you are. Let's have some mutual respect. Let's get something done, and let's move forward and work on your business. Other than that, I think that's about it. Just kind of, personality clashes. And you just have to make sure that you're working with the right person.
Right on. So there has to be a respect for you as a business owner. It's not me sort of classifying you or labeling you into an assistant that might be subordinate. It's someone who is seeing eyeball to eyeball with me, who stands with me as a partner, and then carries out or sort of offsets me from having to do certain things that just, one, don't excite me. They aren't things I'm very good at, but it's that complementation that you provide. Is that correct?
Yeah. And when you find the right person, the things that you don't enjoy doing, because administrative work is what we do, we enjoy that for the most part. So, kind of like one person's trash is another's treasure kind of thing. We enjoy doing those things for the most part. So just find somebody that can play off of your weaknesses and get them moving in the right direction.
Thank you. So April, what would you say to a person who is recognizing this, all right, and they say, I don't want to hire a personal assistant. I'm thinking of hiring a virtual assistant. What do you say to them? I mean, when they say, well, I'm going to run an ad and I think I'm going to hire a PA, and I'm going to put together a position description and I'm going to have someone come into my office. They're going to answer my phones. but yet you know, probably intuitively with your experience also, that this person could be making a mistake. I mean, I myself have considered at times, I'm going to hire someone to work a desk, be a receptionist, handle all these clerical things. How does a VA compete with a live person?
It all depends on what your needs are. Most people these days don't have as many phone calls coming in as they think they do. Most, email is so much more popular these days than phone calls. So, I mean, really that can be handled outside. What I do tell people that are kind of on the fence or they think that they need somebody in the office is to give it a try. Don't hire, work with a VA for a couple of hours here and there. Ask them to find the biggest projects and let us get those off your plate first and start to feel what it feels like to let go of those things. Find out if you are good at delegating, because some people just can't let go. They don't know how to let go, especially to somebody that they can't see. So really it's a personality thing. Most people can do it, but sometimes you just have to work it in slowly.
What's the part of your job that of all the aspects, because VAs are, sometimes they're so broad, and I sense that you really broadly reach out in so many different facets. Would you say, if you could isolate it down to one or two qualities or assets or facets that you do, I mean, what would it be that really gets you excited, April, the things that really energize you among all the different things that you perform for clients?
I like when people call me and they are very successful and they know what they want. They're not just starting out, but they just need somebody to help manage their day-to-day business. And it can kind of carry over into their personal life as well a little bit, but that's what kind of excites me. I enjoy working with people that are killing it, basically, and just need that extra support to keep going. People that I can also learn something from and just have done it all, have gotten out there and have been making money. They just don't have the support system behind them yet.
Right on. So what you're saying is that it's that person they may not have a money problem. It's someone that's gotten to a certain level in their career, but they're looking to go to that next level. For example, NFL. If they're in the college leagues, you might find a very successful college league player, but they're ready to go to the NFL. They want to go to the next level, and they realize that to do that, they have to invest in their strategic thinking to hit that next level, and they're going to need to start really thinking clearly about the things that they should stop doing. And also at the same time, you've said that you enjoy a client who can teach you something. They've gotten a really good expertise at a trade. They become very skillful, very wise in their expertise. So I'm hearing that you're getting a kind of an experienced person rekindled or repositioned in a way where they're going after a much longer length in their career. They're looking for a second wind. And I'll bet that you're coming in right at that point. Where you come in at that point and they say, gosh, if I could keep doing it this way, I'd retire from the thought of retiring. You make it so easy for them. Is that about what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, I can see that. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back on with April Sullivan right after the break, so stay tuned. We're going to talk more about how you can make use of a virtual assistant and how to start repositioning yourself and getting your gifts expressed to the world. So we're going to get more into that right after the break. Stand by.
Having a life where you have the creative freedom to do what you love and to offer the world something that only you can bring to the table. That is the world of high-level performance with John Davidson. That is the world of radical creativity. That is the world that you can be a part of when you realize all that is holding you back is you. Begin the journey through one-on-one coaching that gives you the finesse for business and lifetime achievement, and find your place on the roadmap to high-level performance today. Visit highlevelperformance.com. What matters to me? What is my true work? Monetize your passion and enjoy creative freedom with the VIP Coach. You're listening to Radical Creativity with Executive Performance Coach John Davidson.
All right, so we're back. This is part 2 of this show of Radical Creativity, and our guest on today's show is April Sullivan, and she is the president and founder of virtualassistantchick.com. She is a world-class VA, and she is my VA, and I'm very proud to be talking to her about her unique process and her unique ability, and how to make sure a person is the right fit for her so that she pulls off the best work for them, and how they make sure they're going out into the world smart and they're able to select the best VA for themselves. So that's where I'd like to go, April. If you were sitting down with somebody and they came to you and said, April, I've got to make sure and get a matched VA. I want to make sure that I'm going to pick somebody that's going to be helpful for me for a long time. You know, I appreciate what you said before the break about trying them out for a little bit, seeing if it fits right. What else could you tell us? What else could you tell our listeners about someone that's right on the edge and they just need a way to buy smart, to evaluate this is not a good VA for me and this is a dynamic. This is perfect. This is a match. Can you help us with that?
Yeah. You know, you're going to be working very closely with your VA, and you're going to be trusting your VA with a lot of sensitive information about your personal life, your company, and you really need to just talk to them a lot in that beginning stage before you actually start working together. Ask a lot of questions. Find out how they do things. Find out how their business works. And basically, a good VA is going to have a pretty long consultation process. You're both going to be interviewing each other, and so it's a really good time to just take all the questions that you may have, any concerns that you may have, get them out into the open, and really listen and answer the questions that your VA has very truthfully and honestly, just to get in there and make sure that everything is going to be a right fit.
So it's me really looking for someone that asks me a lot of questions. They are a designer. They are learning my style. They are learning my business model. They are learning my needs. They're taking inventory of what I do well, what I don't do well, strengths, weaknesses. In other words, they're trying to find the holes to plug up. Is that correct?
That's correct. And my consultation is about 4 pages long, and I want to know why you started your business. I want to know what you love about it, what you hate about it, where you struggle. I want to know all these things because it helps me learn their work style, and it helps me see ways that I can help them that they may not be aware of yet.
I see. And so once they're right at the point of kind of crossing over into a VA client, what then happens? So the consultation process goes through, and now they're a client. And so is there a different set of steps there? Do they then get more serious with you? Is there another inventory that happens? Kind of walk us through all the way into becoming a grateful client.
After the consultation process, there isn't too much that goes on. We have contracts that we have you sign, just a short agreement, nothing, too heavy. I always make everybody on my team and the person I'm working with, we all sign confidentiality agreements. I like to make my clients feel comfortable with sharing information with me. Otherwise, we can't do a great job for them. And then we just kind of work slowly. Each person is treated differently based on how that consultation goes. And we try to start just kind of seeing where they need the most help and start scheduling it out. Most people think that it's their website that needs help first, so we usually start there. We get some quick results, and people are happy, and then we move on.
Okay, so let's say that I'm so happy that I want to hire you full time. I want you as my VA, but I want a bigger piece of the action, right? My needs are growing, and I need someone who is dedicated completely in my world. Where do you go with something like that?
Well, define full-time. Full-time for me with any client, I won't work more than 20 hours a month really with a client because I enjoy working with a lot of different people. I manage my time that way, and as a business owner myself, I don't want to work with one person. So we don't usually do that. At that point, they would be most likely having been working with a couple members of my team who may be looking for something like that. I would I would put that into action for them, but it's not something I would do.
So you've really built a business, April, around your life. It serves your life. I love this because you are operating on one of our principles, which is to build a business that is built around your preferred lifestyle. I'm going to bet that you're more engaged, you're more involved, you're more enthusiastic about your business than the average person because you positioned it that way. Yes?
Absolutely. I believe that completely. Yes.
So does April Sullivan have a VA?
I do.
So who's the VA inside the VA? How does that work?
My VA is named Nikki, and she is my right-hand person. And, I don't think I could do anything that I do without her. She does things for my clients, and she does things for me. And before her, I was a little bit more scatterbrained. I wasn't getting things done. I was missing deadlines. I do what I preach.
Right on. Yeah, just like us. I have two coaches that work with me, and I'm the best consumer of it. And you sound the same. You're a great consumer of VA. That makes you very believable. You are the client as well as the provider. So where do you see VA as an industry going? Let's say we were to snapshot this, be a futurist for a minute, put on your future goggles, so to speak, and let's look ahead at, let's say, where it is in 5 years, 10 years. Where do you see the VA industry going, April? How do you see it expanding? Kind of what directions do you see it taking? And how does that impact the way you do business today?
It's already starting to move in a few different directions. There are a group of us virtual assistants that really take our businesses seriously that are moving away from the term virtual assistant. We're instead taking on the title of administrative consultant so that we're not confused with $3-5 an hour overseas virtual assistants. I don't think the industry as a whole is going anywhere. It will expand, I believe, and I think that it will probably be about 50-50 in the future. 50% of businesses having in-house assistants and another 50% having virtual businesses.
How much do you think the Internet has impacted the virtual assistant business itself, and will continue to impact it with social networking becoming such a hot trend? How does that dovetail into VA?
Well, without the Internet, we couldn't exist. It would be almost impossible. File sharing, just everything. Meeting people, you don't have to meet face to face. They go together hand in hand. You can't be a virtual assistant without the Internet. The way things are moving, it can only get better.
Okay, and I got you. I mean, I see that. It's completely dependent on the Internet. I'm in that game as well. I think the coaching industry, to a great degree, has emerged through this spiritual event, the greatest spiritual event of all time, of course, the Internet. We all are interconnected. And so it's given rise to different roles and hybrid positions and all kinds of new opportunities. What about social networking? The way Facebook is going, to me, it's overwhelming. I mean, as a professional, I often wrestle with how much time I got to be on Facebook and how much I'm going to get out of it. And one of the key areas you and I have talked about is how I can delegate more of my social networking. But at the same time, does somebody want to be following me online who's really not there? I'm kind of you're sort of puppeteering what I am. How do you see this social networking piece coming into how a client or how a professional drives his business? It almost seems like we have to be online 24/7. We have to be on contact. We're always accessible. And I don't see that accessibility as an asset. I see that as more of a burden to people growing their business. What's your take on that?
I agree. It is a bit of a burden sometimes. You need to at least give the idea that you are online 24/7. You need to have a social presence. When I work with somebody on their social media, I make it a point that they are going to be a large part of it. They need to be social as well. I will not just take over somebody's social media business and just post things for them because that completely defeats the purpose of being social. But you do need to have a Facebook account. You do need to have a Twitter account. You do need to be accessible in these ways and be there for your clients as much as you can. It's getting a little more difficult to bring in new clients with social media because there's so much going on out there and there's just information overload. But like anything else, you need a presence. You need to be there and you need to be having a conversation with your clients. Even if they're not talking back, they're still listening.
Boy, that makes sense. That's very direct and very insightful. So what do you suggest to a client who's not doing social media and is a little intimidated by it?
Just do it. There's no way around it. You just need to do it. We will help you get set up every way you need to do it. We've got fantastic designers that create landing pages and get your whole social media presence up and running for, a very reasonable price. We'll strategize with you on what types of things you want posted, how often you want them posted, how much interaction we're going to have versus how much interaction you're going to have. It may be scary, it may be overwhelming, but in this day and age, if your business is mostly online, you need to be where your potential clients are.
Is there, as far as my presence, let's say as far as a professional's presence or my presence on Facebook, what are we talking about in terms of participation? Does that mean having a fan page? Does that mean, checking it once a day and watching who says what and making comments on it? I find that, what do you say to clients who sense that their Facebook presence is ingenuine and that they are struggling with the motivation to take interest in other people's lives who really they don't care about and don't care about the newsworthiness of someone? How do you beat down that struggle between somebody who loves the idea of being exposed but can't seem to manufacture a superficial urge to follow someone else that really they have no room for in their head, you say?
Right,
yeah.
Right. That's kind of a difficult one. And I work with realtors mostly, as I said before, and they have information that people don't really want. Nobody wants to see their new listing. Nobody wants that. But yes, there is information overload, but we just need to kind of, figure out where you're comfortable. Don't do anything you're not comfortable with. Focus on the big three, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and just be present.
Just be present. In other words, whatever is needed to make sure that your presence gets out there, and that's something that you as a VA can help us with. That's part of your process.
Correct. And even if you're not out there, selling stuff or teaching people things, it is a great platform for teaching how you do business or what you can do instead of just kind of spewing whatever it is that you want to let out. Even if it's just a way for people to get in contact with you, they Google your name, they want to know more about you. Your website doesn't come up first, but maybe your Facebook page is, and that's how they get your email address or your phone number. It's just one more way for them to find you rather than find your competitors.
So what I'm learning, April, is that a real key piece to having a VA in your life is to stay up to date on the latest trends online, is to be part of where the fish are jumping, and to stay where the action is. Don't be intimidated into what I call the confusion lapse, which means that you're so defeated by learning the technology that you never really get out there and take advantage of the technology. So a VA can certainly help you get the reach into these technologies without intimidation, but you're able to get access to it. April, you've been awesome on today's show. Is there any final word that you'd like to say to our entrepreneurial listeners? Any piece of wisdom that you'd like to say?
Yeah, just, don't be afraid of finding somebody to help you with your business. If you want to learn more, just call up a VA, get a referral from your friends. You'd be surprised how many people already work with a VA. Find somebody you're comfortable with, ask a lot of questions, and find out how they can help you in your business.
Great. Can you give us your information, please, so we know how to access you? What is your website and your phone info or whatever you think would be appropriate? How do we get a hold of you for service?
Yeah, my website is virtualassistantchick.com. You can also go to aprilsullivan.com. That's a new one that we're putting together. And you can email me at april@virtualassistantchick.com. Or if you'd like, you can call me at 714-251-6495.
Outstanding. April, I really appreciate you being part of our show today. And any of our listeners, if you have any questions about April and her work, you could certainly call me. I'm an extraordinarily happy client. I wouldn't let her go for anything. In fact, I get a little envious as I'm announcing her to you because I fear that she's going to move away from me, but I know that's not so. She's got a big team around her, and she's got plenty of space. So, thank you very much, folks, for listening to No Hype Allowed Radical Creativity. This is the VIP Coach. It is JD. You can find us online at www.highlevelperformance.com. That's www.highlevelperformance.com. If you'd like to inquire about our coaching services, please call 714-375-6624. That's 714-375-6624. We also have 3 books that pretty much speak what we do. I mean, we have 3 books online: The Day I Built My Barbecue, The Unstoppable You, and Standing in the Presence of All You Are. You can find us on Amazon.com and Lulu.com or through our website at highlevelperformance.com. Thank you very much for listening to the VIP Coach, and have a productive day. Until next time, take care.
For more tools on how to liberate your gifts, become more valuable, and on purpose through radical creativity with executive performance coach John Davidson, visit highlevelperformance.com. And be sure to follow John on Facebook. Check back soon to continue the journey toward radical creativity.